Hello there. Yes, I'm making this and I'm being a bit of a jerk while I'm making this. But November 18th of this year, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet releases, and I'm going to be doing a 24-hour stream, and I would like to see you all there. That's right, November 18th. That's a Friday, 24-hour stream. I will be doing it, and I will be having fun. So come on by, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, do all that stuff, and yeah, we'll have fun. What's up, everybody? This is Saturday, so you know what that means. A brand new installment of the G Gundam G Gundam reviews. That's right, and this week it's episode 10, and I'm starting to wish, this is more of a meta real life thing, but I'm starting to wish that I could have started doing all these reviews maybe a week earlier. Predominantly because this week's episode would have been perfect for Halloween. It really would have, but we can't fix everything, and this week's episode's relatively simplistic theme. A theme that we all need every now and then, and theme that basically is universal, and it's facing one's fears. Pretty simple, but I like how they go about it, and what they do is they start setting up for the beginning of one of their bigger moments, when the story gets another kick in the butt, where it starts giving you more of the overarching story and the overarching things, and get some more Dark Gundam working. So why don't we get into this week's episode? And I'm just gonna boop up. There we go. This week's episode, we start off, if I can get the thing going, in the middle of a sandstorm, where we approach a Gundam crew, and we're gonna sit here, and this is Neo Egypt's crew, current crew. Now, these three characters and this Mummy Gundam, which I don't know which iteration of the Mummy Gundam this is, but this is a Mummy Gundam, are talking about basically a ghost story. Yes, a ghost story, a simple ghost story, that one of their old fighters, if I can get it to work right, by the name of Dahal Muhammad or Dahal Dahamid. I'm not so sure on how to properly say the ending. A hero for Neo Egypt, and the pilot of Mummy Gundam the 4th has been sighted waking up and moving around. Well, the thing is, Dahal's dead, and he's their former hero, and he should be resting in his tomb, along with Mummy Gundam. But one man assures them that no, they've been seeing him and his Gundam walking around these parts. They then have the door fling open, the sandstorm comes within, and you see Dahal and Mummy Gundam the 4th. As they attack the current Neo Egypt crew, they destroy their base right now, and we begin the story with our narrator, as he talks about how even in these warring times, the tombs of Egypt are still untouched, even when destruction's all around. And a story is that when battling is around, a spirit will awaken. And he informs us that this week's episode is Dahal and Mummy Gundam the 4th, and how absurd it kind of sounds, considering these characters are dead. And that it doesn't make sense, but perhaps the Dark Gundam has something to do with it. Let's get ready to fight. Ready, go. Which I love that line. We get our title, which I was not paying attention at that time, and I apologize. But we open up the full episode on Rain and Domon coming across the rubble of the Neo Egypt's team. And they're shocked that anything happened. They quickly approach it. They find one man, and he informs them that the Dahal did this. It was Dahal that did all this. And he's scared to death. The other two look to be passed out and terrified of Dahal as he passes out to the ground, potentially dying. I'm trying to see. Domon then takes a look upon the Gundam's unit, the old Mummy Gundam, and sees that its cockpit is completely destroyed and ruined. Domon is concerned. Then Rain informs him, if I can get that shot back, of another Gundam battle going on. And we see the sandstorm, lightning, crashes, explosions all around. And it's Dragon Gundam versus Mummy Gundam the 4th. If I can get, I was trying to get a good shot. And Dragon Gundam's getting pushed back. It's not an easy fight. And you get this shot where Saisaishi lands a perfect hit. You can see the damage right here. And if I can get it just right, it heals up immediately, showing that Mummy Gundam the 4th has something going on. Saisaishi's concerned. The battle keeps going on, but now Mummy Gundam has aimed a shot right at the door of the cockpit. And mind you, I should have mentioned this. This is not an official Gundam fight right now. Saisaishi acknowledges that. He doesn't know why they're fighting, and he's just trying to fight basically to get out of there or to end this all, because it's not normal. Saisaishi dodges away. Mummy Gundam, my brain quit working there. Mummy Gundam fires upon Saisaishi, and Saisaishi has to use the flags to try to dodge the shots. Saisaishi goes in for a punch, having Mummy Gundam just dodge. And then Mummy Gundam punches Saisaishi square in the gut, tosses Dragon Gundam out of the storm, almost hitting Domon and Rain in the core lander. They acknowledge Dragon Gundam. Domon quickly hops out to look upon the Mummy Gundam as Saisaishi battles him. Saisaishi's convinced that he's going to end this right away, goes to throw his flag attack to try to distract Mummy Gundam. Goes in with a piercing attack, pierces right into the cockpit, and this is where Saisaishi kind of starts getting scared, because he sees, as he thinks he kills Dahamid, Mummy Gundam falls to the ground. Saisaishi's terrified and starts reciting Article 2, pilots should never aim for the cockpits. He's terrified, and he believes that he just killed Dahamid. He believes he just killed a man, and he's terrified about that because that's not who he is. Storm breaks up, and they return to the previous ruins, the ruins of the current Neo Egypt's team, and it's all gone. The Gundam's gone, the fighters are gone, everything's gone. And Domon finds it very odd, like they were just here, where is everything? And Saisaishi starts getting scared. Siuin and Kayin, don't remember which one's which, but that's their names, start asking, are you sure this is where they were? Domon says yes, and they're gone now. And Saisaishi's convinced that there's a ghost after him. Domon says, well, if there is a ghost, it wants to possess you, so it's not my concern. As Domon and Rain go to leave, Saisaishi begs Domon to stay for the night. because he needs protection, and Saisaishi's acting like a little wimp. That's the important part of this episode. Like I said at the beginning, is about facing one's fears, standing up for what you know is basically standing up and staring down what you're most afraid of. And Saisaishi, it's all about the young Saisaishi. Granted, there's another aspect, an overall aspect. Saisaishi just won't let Domon and Rain go, and they basically cave and say, fine, we'll stay for the night. Night comes. Units are all set up. You see Suen, Kaien, and Saisaishi are asleep. And Domon and Rain start having a conversation. Rain asks Domon if he is sure that he's right about this, and Domon says the only person that would have any want for the Gundam, for these Gundams, is the Dark Gundam. And the only Gundam that has the ability to regenerate is the Dark Gundam. So more than likely, the Dark Gundam is nearby and came and took Neo Egypt's team and its Gundam. For what reason? Don't really know. They don't really get into that, and even watching this show, not really sure why they needed them. Rain says, I can't believe this is our mission. You have to fight your brother. And Domon freaks out on her, saying, never call him my brother. That man is not my brother. And she agrees. We then go back to Saisaishi as he's having, I guess, a nightmare, saying, I'm sorry I killed you. I didn't mean to kill you. I'm sorry. And then he wakes up, half asleep, carrying Domon's jacket. Suen or Kaien, again, I cannot remember which one's which, and it's just, I don't know. They're always together, so it's hard to remember which one's which. They're never separated. But one of them wakes up to ask Saisaishi where he's going. He says, I'm going to pee. Suen or Kaien responds with, okay, don't wet what you can't. Don't wet what doesn't need to be wet. Basically saying, hey, don't pee yourself. Saisaishi says, I know, quit treating me like a little kid. And as he's going off to pee, he sees, if I can get a good shot, he sees Dahamid staring down at him. And it freaks Saisaishi out. Everybody starts yelling. Domon and Rain rush back to camp, and Saisaishi is just panicked and tells everybody that he just saw the mummy. And nobody really believes him, but he's adamant that he saw it. I mean, he did see it, but they say, okay, well, what are we going to do? The next morning, they all wake up and get on Camelback and are heading somewhere. Saisaishi asks Rain, hey sis, because Saisai's younger, he's more playful, he's more relaxed, he's not so uptight as some characters. Asks, hey, where are we going? She says a ruin. She did some research and she did some research and she looked up who Dahamid is. And, well, first she says she's going to a ruin. It's the ruin of Dahamid, the fighter. And she did some research, learned who Dahamid is, that he's the hero of Neo Egypt. He was once a great Gundam fighter. He managed to give Egypt control of Earth at one point in time. And after he died, they erected this tomb for him. Domon acknowledges, hey, so we're going to a Gundam fighter's tomb. And Saisaishi says no. He refuses to go in. He says it's too scary. He doesn't want to go in. And then he starts getting called a wimp by Suen and Kaien. Suen and Kaien. God, I love this show. These are the two characters that I struggle with the most. Just their names. They're saying how pathetic it is that the person who's supposed to be saving the Shaolin Temple is too scared to go in a tomb, so therefore the Shaolin Temple will never be revived. And then they start kind of looking all sad and everything, and that gets Saisaishi's butt in gear, so he goes inside. Saisaishi makes a little quip that we should start being more careful. This is about the time when traps get involved. And sure enough, if I can get that perfect shot, he steps on a trap. Domon quickly picks him up. Rain and all of them are like watching around, and Rain, Domon, and Saisaishi fall in a pit. They wake up unsure of how they really survived. Saisaishi says, "See, I knew we shouldn't have come in here." They get up, they continue on, and then they notice that they are in the actual resting chamber of Dahamid. You get this scary photo of portrait of Dahamid staring at them. Domon says, "Okay, it's time to open up the tomb so we can look inside." Saisaishi says, "No, don't do that. That's stupid. It's too scary." Domon ignores him, opens up the tomb, looks inside, and notices something. Tells Saisaishi he must look inside. Pulls Saisaishi over to look inside, and the tomb is empty. So in fact, the mummy that is following them and that they are fighting is in fact Dahamid. Gotta establish that. They then have a wind blows through there for a moment, pushes out the light. Saisaishi's getting a little terrified. Domon's ready for fight. Rain's nervous. And the eyes on the portrait light up. If I can get that perfect shot, light up. And Dahamid comes busting through. Saisaishi immediately flees with Rain, but Dahamid won't let him go, uses his wrapping to grab onto Saisaishi. Domon goes in for a punch and breaks the side of Dahamid, and as you can see, something's going on here. There's machinery within Dahamid. Dahamid? Whatever. Dahamid. Domon takes note of that. He then reaches up to free Saisaishi by literally tearing the bandages and everything. Saisaishi falls on the ground. Domon and Rain and them pick him up. Rain then throws a grenade. Where did she get a grenade? Don't know. Why did she throw the grenade? I don't know. How does it do what it does next? Definitely don't know. How do they escape? I don't know. But they somehow escape. But this one grenade made a massive explosion that basically destroyed the entire ruins. Sui and Keiyun, Rain, Saisaishi, Domon have made it all out of the tomb. They look at the tomb get destroyed. Saisaishi wakes up, is pleased that everything's over, and that is when Domon says, "Nope, not over yet," because Mummy Gundam is ready for a fight and only wants to fight Saisaishi. So Domon says, "You have to go fight him." Saisaishi says, "No, I can't." And then Domon picks on him saying, "Hey, you know what? You're a fighter. You are not just any fighter, though. You're the fighter chosen by the Shaolin Temple. You have to fight to defend the Shaolin Temple and reinstate the Shaolin Temple, and you're acting like a wimp. Grow up and do the fighting." So Saisaishi gets in his Gundam, prepares to fight, doesn't want to fight, keeps running away. Everybody's telling him, "Quit wimping out. You need to stand up and fight." Rain's doing a little bit of research. Saisaishi keeps walking away, saying, "Hey, I don't want to fight you." Mummy Gundam doesn't care. He wants to fight Saisaishi. Above all else, he goes in for an attack, hits Saisaishi, binds Saisaishi, refuses to let Saisaishi go. Suien and Keiun says, Saisaishi, you need to get out of there. Saisaishi says, I can't move right now. They don't know what's going on. Plead with Domon to get involved. Domon says, no, it's not my fight. And then Rain looks up what happened exactly to Dahamid. And it turns out that in Dahamid's last match at the Gundam Finals, he made it to the final round and was facing the then Dragon Gundam. Or the fighter from China at the time, or the Shaolin Temple at the time. It was one of those two. I think it was that time's Dragon Gundam. He lost to the Dragon Gundam, and in that moment, when his head fell down, landed right in front of the cockpit, exploded, and killed him instantly. But the pilot of the Shaolin, of the Gundam at that time, was the leader of the Shaolin Temple of the time, none other than Saisai's grandfather. So, Saisaishi learning all this, learning that Dahamid just wants to fight again, wants to fight the Shaolin Temple's fighter, and goes on about all that. That's the only will he has to fight. He's back because his will of fight is so strong. Saisaishi finally agrees to fight him and initiates a Gundam fight match. And in this match, Saisaishi basically ends it right away once the match officially starts. Uses a special dragon dance move that terrifies even me. And if I can get the shot just right, because that was weird. Lands all of his pulls around Mummy Gundam. Sends his Dragon Gundam's head flying and basically burns Mummy Gundam to... Basically destroys Mummy Gundam standing there and melts it to death. Match is technically done. Get this really cool shot of all the flags, all the poles going right back into Dragon Gundam. Think the battle's over. Saisaishi's, pleading, saying, hey, good match, doing what he does. And then a random Viper cord comes out and attaches itself to Saisaishi. Saisaishi's freaking out, like, what the heck's going on? Mummy Gundam standing back up, basically falling apart, but not fully, but like regenerating. Domon comes flying down from the sky now, uses Shining Finger, and tells everybody to get back. This is my turn. I have to take care of the rest. Domon destroys the head unit. Everything blows up. Again, everything should be over. And the mummy unit starts standing up again. And that's when Domon said, I've been waiting for this moment. I needed to confirm it fully, but now I do. This is my issue. He doesn't tell Saisaishi that the Dark Gundam's here. Doesn't tell Suien or Keiun anything about the Dark Gundam, but Rain and Domon both know that the Dark Gundam has somehow corrupted the deceased and the decommissioned Mummy Gundam. And with this knowledge, Domon's starting to get really heated up. His emotions are revving. He says that this is my time because I am the fighter and the King of Hearts, and this is my mission, and my brother has infected him. So he activates his super mode again for the first time since episode 6. So for the past 4 episodes, we haven't had it. Activates the super mode. Uses Shining Finger Sword to just destroy Mummy Gundam altogether. Rain acknowledges that Domon went back into that mode. And as everybody's rejoicing that Mummy Gundam's destroyed, Rain breaks down crying. Because she knows what all this truly means. It's starting to hit Rain what their mission is and how it all is about to play in. But Suien and Keiun says that's Domon for sure. He truly is the King of Hearts. Domon's powering down. He looks upon Dahamid and says, even the Dark Gundam can manipulate the dead in this way. And words. Domon basically lays Dahamid to rest using Shining Finger and has his ashes scatter. Saishi says, hey, what's going on? What was all this? Can you please tell me? Domon doesn't. But he addresses Rain crying and says, don't cry, Rain. This is my mission. I have to fight my brother. And that's that. Episode ends there. And altogether, knowing this episode and knowing some of these episodes, I give this episode a better score than several of the other episodes. Granted, it's maybe better than last week's episode. Last week's fun in its own regards, not the best. Not some deep-seated, like, bigger plot theme development. You know, we went from establishing characters and the main story. We then went into fighters that aren't fighting because they want to spend time with their dying family member. Fighter who wanted to kill Argo because he desired revenge. To a fighter that was going to basically die fighting and deteriorating. To a fighter who came back from the dead to just fight, but was also corrupted by the Dark Gundam. But the biggest theme about this one, where the other ones were like family, revenge, legacy, this one was just simply about facing your fears. And but also it evolves the story a little bit further, starts showing some of the effects that Dark Gundam can have on the world. And this is an important part because starting next week, I believe it's next week. I'll have to check, but we're coming very close to the beginning of a multi-part episode thing that delves deep. And I'm not going to give spoilers on it, but it delves into the Dark Gundam more. We see some of the abilities the Dark Gundam has and some of the things that it can do and some of the ways it can corrupt the world and why it's so dangerous. And that's important for the overall story. And with that, guys, I hope you liked the video. If you do, give it a thumbs up. Share it out with all your friends. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that notification bell for every time I go live and put out a new video. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Oh, and leave a comment down below. I always like comments. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye for now.